What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Obviously, I haven't made one of these in a while, but I've been in the talks. I've been tweeting out occasionally saying, I miss making videos, because I do. I really do miss making videos. This YouTube channel to me has been something that's really risen throughout my esports career, just really risen through my entire YouTube career. I've been wanting to make videos constantly. It's something that I have that's my own. It's something that I possess, that I love to upload, and something that you're constantly updating. And there's addicting apps that you have, and it's like, why am I updating this constantly? There really is no reason for me to do this. It's just addicting to succeed. It's addicting to see yourself have results. And that's been like a spotty thing for me over the last year or so, or really 2 years, that I've been making esports content on a consistent basis. Is that jobs will come up and stuff like that. I've just been really busy recently, and of course MLG Vegas didn't really make anything easier. It was a fantastic event. It's obviously what I'm going to be talking about in this particular video. I'm kind of curious what I'm going to label this video, because it is kind of like a recap, but it's also just really a pure discussion on what was MLG Vegas. I might call it what was MLG Vegas, or CoD being CoD, or whatever it really is, because I was looking at some of the results from UMG South Carolina, which was the first official major event for Black Ops 3, and obviously MLG Vegas, the first official event of Infinite Warfare. Of course, got to take into consideration UMG South Carolina. Issues happened. Everyone knows the things with the controllers, which definitely affected a lot of the results. However, though, I want to kind of bring up a few things about MLG Vegas, because everyone's kind of freaking out, saying, "Oh, roster changes. Our roster change is going to happen." Now, they're going to happen. Obviously, I think there have already been some announced from some amateur teams. I know Lethal Gaming ended up announcing a roster change. I think some guys from some other teams as well that you guys might not even recognize have been making changes. So there's already stuff that's going to happen. I mean, just generally based off of overall results, teams are going to make changes. It doesn't matter who's going to win. Teams will make changes as long as they're not winning. And obviously, 8, 9, 10 different teams can't win first. So that's kind of how things start to go. But I think it's kind of funny, because CoD likes to repeat itself. I think it's kind of a funny fact to kind of bring up, because when we talk about UMG South Carolina, comparing it to MLG Vegas, you're saying, well, why are you comparing the two? It's because it's funny, because teams were so quick to want to make roster changes after that event happened, even though controller issues did come, because people were saying, oh, well, this team, I can't grind with this team. This team doesn't succeed. It's the way that Call of Duty, the mindset of Call of Duty players work. We don't succeed, let's get rid of it. Let's start over. And that's something that I really liked throughout the CWL, was that that teams, organizations held players to their contracts, because we've seen teams like FaZe who since December 2015 or something like that, where they end up making the roster change, being a dominant powerhouse toward the end of Advanced Warfare, didn't have a good Black Ops 3, and then started to rise up again in Infinite Warfare. Of course, didn't have a good placing here, at MLG Vegas, but still, there were so many rosters I think that would have 100% split up. But since those contracts kind of came into play, it definitely made the players want to work with one another. It kind of built that chemistry that I think Call of Duty has desperately needed for organizations. So that's the thing that we're going to be talking about today, is not just roster changes, but that Call of Duty likes to repeat itself. History likes to repeat itself. So it's kind of known that weird results were going to happen coming into this tournament. I didn't even make a prediction video, because I was like, you know what? Predictions are going to be wrong, 100%. I'm going to predict FaZe or that they're going to win, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to. That ends up happening. Not that I'm a prediction wizard. It was just kind of like, I don't think they're going to win, so I'm not going to make a prediction video and sound like an idiot. Not that people who do make prediction videos are idiots. It's just the fact that I knew that mine were going to be so wrong that I'm like, is it really worth it to watch the video? I mean, I watched tons of hours of team scrims, yet I know that in the ending results, things are just going to be so flamboyant and so crazy that I'm not going to be able to predict teams like Allegiance, Enigma 6, who comes out and 9-0s their entire pool out of the open bracket, when I was like, maybe they'll make it out of the open, maybe they won't. Are they an online team? Is this team an online team? People were saying that Cloud9 was an online team throughout the 2K. There were so many little speculation things that were coming through the event, and you don't know, since there hasn't really been an official land, whether or not these online teams that people are saying are online teams are the actual real deal or not. So you have teams like Evil Geniuses, E6, who come out and beat Optic Gaming. E6 does. What is that? They end up 3-0ing Rise. They 3-0'd the team that won the tournament. How does that make any sense whatsoever? It doesn't. It doesn't make any sense at all. And then you have, like I said, Evil Geniuses, who plays very high throughout this tournament. They end up placing top 8, which, granted, for them might not have been the greatest placing, but I'm not going to lie. I didn't think the Evil Geniuses was going to make it through pool or through open bracket. I was like, it's a good team. It's not, to me, as solid as I would have liked them to be. Team Allegiance, what? What? Who's Team Allegiance? I forgot who was on that roster. Not really. I knew who was on the team. But I did not expect them to have a top 4 placing. They ended up taking out E6, who beat the team who ended up winning this tournament. Like, there were so many weird placements that happened. Like, to bring up one, I ended up casting on Bravo, for those who didn't know, throughout MLG Vegas. And I was able to watch, so there was a 2K that happened between Gosu Crew and Team Envious. They ended up matching up. I was thinking, well, curious to see how Gosu Crew responds in the online 2K. Gosu Crew 3-0s them, right? They 3-0 them. They're looking incredible throughout the 2K. I think they ended up getting knocked out a little bit later. Then it comes down to LAN, where Gosu is now in Envy and FaZe's pool, which automatically is like, oh God, like, you know, how is Gosu going to even try to fend for themselves? When in reality, they lose 3-0 to Envious, right? Okay. People are saying online team. I'm kind of expecting the same thing. I'm like, well, they have a slow start. I know RCs or someone was having an issue with getting here. I think they had flown in that morning. So obviously that was a little bit of an issue that I knew kind of coming into the game. And then they ended up facing off FaZe Clan and beating them in Game 5. And then later on, Envy and FaZe match up, and I'm thinking, well, FaZe lost to Gosu, Envy destroyed Gosu, so I'm expecting Envious to win it. No, FaZe beats them. So it's like, I beat you, you beat me, and then they beat them. It's like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, which is exactly the same result that happened at UMG South Carolina. Optic gets knocked out. Optic gets knocked out again. Will Optic have another dominant year throughout Infinite Warfare? I think so. However, that's not always going to be the case. We saw some incredible matchups from obviously FaZe and Optic, a series that I've been waiting to see for a very, very long time. Haven't matched up, I believe, since like Season 3 of Advanced Warfare, which is insane. I think someone says like 455 days, which is like mind-blowing. And then playing at E3, which is actually an event that I casted over. I kind of hold those results dear because not many people know who actually won that. So unless someone really wants to know, I'm not going to tell you who won that. But still, it wasn't really an official LAN environment. For the first series, they're kind of messing around. And things got real. However, though, not important. Anyway, moving forward. So they didn't really face off against each other for a very long time. Got to see that play out. We saw the rematch of Optic Gaming and E6, a previous UMG Cali matchup that everyone knows, that insane CTF, probably top 5 CTF of all time in Call of Duty history. E6 ends up winning that one. Like, what is going on, Optic Gaming? Why are you guys not looking strong? Like I said, it's the same thing that Call of Duty does every year. Teams start to grind at the beginning of the game. Some teams don't. Not saying one team grinding over another, but that obviously was the case in a lot of these matchups. Not saying that, oh, Rise Nation, they grinded the most. It's no, they might just have the overall best feeling toward the game before anyone else does. That's something that has happened with that team in the past, where they come out, they rise to the occasion at the beginning of the game. And one thing, I know I'm kind of been going all over with this video. I miss making videos, so I'm just kind of going here and going there. So one thing I want to talk about before I actually have to get ready to go, one thing I want to last talk about was the performance of Rise Nation. Rise Nation, of course, coming into this year, were known under the organization of Elevate. They have Nagafen on the team. They end up releasing Nagafen. And, of course, they end up joining over on Rise Nation. 3 players from Rise Nation go over and join Luminosity. 3 players from Luminosity get dropped. 2 of them, Study and Nameless, end up going to EG. Space Leader gets picked up by Trigger Happy. So to kind of branch all that out, there's a lot of roster changes that kind of went down with this particular team. And in my opinion, I had them top 4. I had them top 4. Did not think they would make it any farther than that. Thought they would get knocked out. Thought they would get slayed out basically. But this team over time has turned in from such a methodical, unorganized group of friends who just ran around and did whatever. Kind of in some cases even at champs, when they end up being runners up at that, falling to denial, were so charismatic. They would just do anything that you weren't expecting, which is little hints that I'm looking at, to a number of different teams, but specifically the Gosu Crew or TGC. They have lots of little glimpses to what that old TR team looked like. But of course, throughout Black Ops 3, they drop Remy, they pick up Felony, so they're starting to add slang to this roster. Nagafen, who didn't have the best slang performance throughout Black Ops 3, is later then substituted, obviously, in for Looney. In that case, they join a new organization, new name, UMG South Carolina. Who wins that event? Rise Nation. First event of Infinite Warfare. Who wins this event? Rise Nation. Different team, but still, we're kind of there, right? I'm trying to blend these things together. But no, like I said, Rise Nation, when they add a player like Looney to this team, it was like, yes, like this team has an opportunity to hang in every single game mode, right? Talented uplink. Why? The teamwork is already there. It's not like Felony has just recently joined this team. Chemistry is there. They add one player, Nagafen, previously, and then now they add in Looney. Looney, to me, provides a number of different things for this roster. It provides a stable kind of like, whenever I think of this team, it's kind of like a jumble, a bunch of different lines going in different directions, and then they end up, meeting together at the end to get a victory. Looney to me is a straight line that just goes through all of that. The communication, the slang presence that he brings, the consistency that he brings, rising through Advanced Warfare on TK, then joining on different teams, being a powerhouse back for Rise Nation as well. And he's been that stable person that I've really noticed throughout throughout this entire team, throughout their team scrims or whatever it has been. And that now they can win hard points, right? It wasn't they can now win hard points. They're still strong in search and destroy. They're also a very talented team when it comes down to uplink. And when you got guys like Aqua who are going to bring you a major performance at all times, you have a consistent player like Felny, a consistent player like Looney, and then Facento who absolutely destroys this event. I mean, literally probably one of the best OSA players or OSA players in the game currently, at least on LAN. And Facento was kind of brought up whenever the roster change went down with Remy back in Black Ops 3. It was, well, who's the least slayer? Like, who's the guy who's going to kind of fall apart at times? Like, who's a better slayer, Facento or Remy? And Remy was known as a pure objective. And then so when Remy was dropped, it was because Facento was starting to fill that objective role. And now coming into this game, it's exactly the opposite. Facento is now one of the main slayers for this roster. Teams, they switch up so much. And I really, really do like this Rise Nation team. Of course, they end up beating Cloud9 in the grand finals. Cloud9 goes to game 5, I think, every single series that they were in. Major props to Cloud9, Lacefield and Assault, without a doubt the unquestionable one of my favorite duos to watch throughout this game, just because of the charismatic that they have, how different they are as players. Assault, a very, not quiet, but I'd say a calm AR player, very slow, rocks the NV4 a lot of the time. Just a very standard AR player. Then you have a guy like Lacefield, who's also an AR player, but everyone uses an AR. Very, very quick, very emotional type of player who likes to get in the face of the opposition. And then you have Aches, who obviously is kind of leading the way, and Ricky to kind of be that support player who does absolutely everything around the map. I think Ricky had like a 0.88 KD. Granted, not every scoreboard was taken, but you can kind of see, like, they are getting second place when Ricky is getting a 0.88 KD, and the reason why is that he's freeing up everyone to do everything else. He's freeing up the Slayers to do whatever they want to. He's freeing up Assault to rock the MV4. He's freeing up Lacefield to kind of be that running gun player. Aches to kind of be that middleman who's kind of redirecting everything, and Ricky's kind of like his second-hand man. I really, really like that team as well. So in my opinion, I really did enjoy MLG Vegas. I kind of wanted to branch out, kind of like talk about how Call of Duty to me is the same game. It's the same game every single year, and I think based on these results, I'm not expecting Rise Nation to be the #1 team throughout the rest of the year. I'm not expecting Cloud9 to be there with them at all times, and I'm expecting FaZe Clan to be 3rd and 4th, and I'm not expecting Legions to be a top 4 team throughout the year. And I'm not expecting Optic Gaming to make a roster change right now. Either. So with that in mind, guys, if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like. And I know this, like I said, this video was very sporadic. I kind of just talked and kind of went off on a number of different things. But if you guys are interested to see me make more videos, feel free to let me know. I'm going to probably try to start making them, but every time I say that, I don't. So I'll try to bring them back. I'm going to try to just make videos about topics that are going on here and there. And yeah. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys all later. Hope you guys did enjoy the cast MLG Vegas. If you guys have any constructive criticism on that, feel free to let me know, as well as in these videos. I know I talk fast. I know this video was long. I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Peace.